we have seen at Tobago where the THA as a whole has focused on maintenance, community-style projects, but the island, the economy has not been moving. And so one of our goals was to do that. Again, at the divisional level, we conceptualized, if you remember, we conceptualized the city of Scarborough, the redevelopment of Scarborough as the flagship project that we believe will signal the transformation of Tobago. And we have pursued that as far as we can go just now. And maybe later on in the interview I'll give more details on that, but we've pursued that, given the mandate that we had, and we've brought it to the point where we are awaiting a sovereign guarantee from the central government to enable us to move forward. At the district, I think we have the team and myself, we have had several outreach, we have done infrastructure work, we've done community service, we've stayed in contact, we've been working intermittently over the period, we've had meetings. As a THA as a whole, you may remember, the public might remember, we went around the island trying to get the views of the public to see how we were going, presenting our annual reports. So I think all in all, I would say individually as a representative and as a secretary, I think I have done well, we have done well, and my being here tonight to start this series with you is a symbol of our desire to ensure that we remain accessible to the public, and we present ourselves now to the questions.
Yeah, thank you. I invite you to just list just a couple of the things that you have actually implemented over the last 4 years, like name them specifically, just off the top of your head.
At the district? District
or secretary level?
Well, at the district, we are still repairing Mount Grace playing field. I think when we came into office, it was a field that couldn't host decent matches, and we are now, I think, maybe a month out from reopening the field. We're repairing the pavilion, trying to get the lights back working. We've done the entire field over. We have done paving across the district. We have done retaining walls at the Color Hall playing field. We are doing now a revetment in the back of Andrews Lane to protect one of the district houses from sliding into the watercourse. So we have tried to stay in contact with the district as best we can. We have had several hamper drives, book drives, football tournaments, that kind of stuff. So I think at the district level we've done well. At the division level, we came into office, as an example, we came into office and the rent and lease program was in excess of $22 million. Over the 4 years, we have bought new equipment. From the projections we have seen for fiscal 2025, the rent and lease bill will now be down to about $11 or $12 million. So I think we are moving in the right direction. We have gotten because of our restructuring of the division, we have gotten the division development team to execute projects never seen in Tobago. We've moved a mountain in Castara, for example. We are now paving internally around the island, and so on. I think generally we are moving in the right direction. Our project management office has managed the Shervan Strawberry Connector Road internally as a project management team, and so I think we are beginning to see and to benefit from the restructuring that we did, and the professionals and the division are now having an opportunity to practice their skills and to hone them in and to make sure that they are in fact contributing to the performance of the division.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I'm curious about you're referencing doing the road paving internally, right? What is the benefits of that?
Well, we've lived in Tobago and we've complained bitterly about the underperformance of the staff of the division, various divisions, where we've had staff on salaried staff who come to work and do little and get paid. And generally, there is this idea of unproductivity in the THA. And what I have tried to do is to bring a level of performance to the staff, to get buy-in from the staff. So we are allowing staff to instead of going out to tender, for which the division has done in the past, we are now paving. We are executing bigger projects, and so
executing the projects using the internal staff.
Using the internal staff, yes.
Bringing people in.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so you were elected on a PDP platform. Months later, as we know, you left the party. You are now representing the Tobago People's Party. Do you still consider your original PDP mandate for which you were elected for, or do you have a new mandate within the TPP that is your guiding decision?
I think it's a bit of both. We've continued with the PDP mandate. The mandate of the people, and the way the PDP was structured, it was a mandate from my district, it's a mandate from Belgarden, from Good, from people all over the island, so that it is the people's mandate. We continue to pursue that. Of course, we would add that because it's a life kind of thing, you know. So we've continued to add to that. So one of the things, for example, is that outreach you saw, where we came back to the people over the period, and that's one of the things that we have added to the mandate that we have, because this good governance model that's kind of now in the world, we are now moving in that direction, and hence I'm here with you.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay. My next question is, constituents often look to their representative to be accessible, but often are not. Can you share how you maintained that connection with your residents during your tenure?
Well, I think I'm one of the people who answer my phone, for example. I don't think I have many complaints of people not reaching me. But like I said, we have gone into the district over the period we've been working. My staff has been working. Our offices are always accessible.
How often have you been doing those walkthroughs?
Well, not as often as I should, but as often as I can.
What's the reason?
No, it's about time management. The office of the secretary is an office where your time is not your own, and we have various responsibilities at office, at home, and all that. So there's an expectation, I think, in the public where the public feels that you must be at the office because you have to perform there for the people of Tobago, but you must somehow be in the district. You must take care of your children, and you must be this person that has no time for himself. But I think we have to find a way to find that balance. I always give the example of if you are representing the Martin West and you have 28,000 people voting for you, how do you, being a minister of government, go back on the ground to meet everybody in every district? It's simply impossible. And the similar thing in Tobago, it's just difficult to do, maybe impossible to do. And the expectation...
That's understandable, but as you opened, you said that you are someone who answers your phone, but if Tobagonian did not have your phone number and they needed to reach you, how would they be able to do that?
No, we have our Facebook page is always available. We have my number is in public number now, so I don't think that kind of is a challenge for people reaching me. People call me from all over the place, all over the island. Mm-hmm. But we remain accessible through the office of the secretary, and through the office of the district office.
What do you think about the idea of having a monthly, just once a month, where you have a community center meeting with the people of Scarborough Mount Grace, where you are present, and similar to the setting of tonight, you make yourself accessible to have direct questions? What do you think about that idea?
It's a good idea. Whether in the schedule that is possible every single month, that might be difficult, but it's a good idea. We have office days, for example, where we go to the office. In my case, I think not every Thursday, every other Thursday was the schedule. Sometimes it's hard to maintain it, but so the public is accessible to me during that period that I'm at the district office.
Right.
during public days
Right.
from 9, 10 to 3, 4 o'clock, and sometimes, depending on how many people want to see me, we go later. So,
Right.
so and we do that at the secretary's office as well.
Right.
So it's not an accessibility issue. I think.
So just to clarify for our viewers, you try to be accessible every other Thursday unless otherwise.
Once there are people who have accessed the office and request the meeting, and we have,
Right.
I think our standard is more than 5, then we have a district. We have a public day at the office.
Right, great. Okay. Over the last 4 years, what would you say were the main achievements in your district service to the people of Scarborough Mountain Grace? What do you say
The district
highlight?
service. What I've tried to do is to attempt to deliver projects that will benefit the widest cadre of people. And I think there is a kind of notion out there that you must be able to fix every problem because we have delivered so much in the short time that there's this expectation that every drain, every roof that's leaking, every hole that's there must be fixed in record time. And we appreciate that, we understand that to be because we have delivered, and there's this growing expectation. But why we have attempted to do the playing field, for example, it's a community project, and we believe that will benefit the widest group of people.
Have you been doing, obviously you wouldn't be able to meet everyone's needs, but have you been doing those smaller things like fixing roofs, drains, so on?
Oh, well, at the Division of Infrastructure, that's what we do.
Yeah.
So the requests come in and we attempt to do that. We can't, as secretary, focus only on my district, but across the island you would see that as a division, we have been in fact attempting all sizes of projects, and over the years the division has been doing that as well, and so it's not a new thing for me, but we have become more organized in what we do. We've become more planning oriented, and so I think we've become a bit more efficient in how we execute these projects, and that I am happy about, because as a project management professional myself, it is very important that we measure performance through efficiency.
Okay. So you mentioned the Mount Grace
Playing field.
Is there any other major developments over the last 4 years that you've done for the district?
Well, that will be our biggest project. Of course, we've paved roads in the district. We have done drainage projects. For example, we've done that Abraham Trace drainage project that, of course, back there. Between the playing field and that drainage project, that would have been our 2 biggest projects in the district.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. And how are you balancing your secretarial duties with your representation duties? Like
well, I see my first level representation of being in the House. I think my contributions in the House, even if I say so myself, has been very high. The quality of my contributions. I think, secondly, accessibility to me. Public days, both at the Works Division office, at the district office, I remain accessible. So I think the balance is there. Of course, more could always be done. People will still cuss me and say they ain't seen me or they ain't heard me and they ain't seen me in Calder Hall. I ain't coming online with the boys in the night or going by the bar. So you can't get away from it. That's the politics. But I think overall, I've been very accessible, and I've responded to concerns that has come to me.
On a personal level, though, having to hold both positions, how has that been for you on a personal level, having to juggle all these different responsibilities?
Well, like I say, it's a project management thing, the time management thing, and that's my training. So it hasn't been a major challenge. Of course, you have to schedule and you have to decide that you would give up something for the other. And that is not always explainable or acceptable, but it's a resource management thing, and if I see myself as a resource, then I get more comfortable knowing that I am achieving the goals that I set.
Right. So it's not been too difficult then?
I don't think so.
Right, okay, good. Well, thank you. And we are going to head to a short break at this point. Please stay with us and we will be back in a few minutes.
Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy. Almost everything, almost anything, almost anytime, almost every day. We in every season for every reason. Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy. Almost everything you want from a pharmacy. Just ask our pharmacist. Well, almost. We are here to serve all of you all of the time. Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy. 141 Chauvin Road, Buku. Call our pharmacy on 610-7634 or our supermart on 768-0723 and 766-0476. Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy.
Escape to elegance at Le Chateau Suites Tobago. Gated privacy, breathtaking villas, unforgettable memories, where Caribbean dreams become reality.
For 10 years, Pulse 89.5 FM has been the beat that moves Tobago. From the latest hits to the voices of the community, we bring the island's rhythm to life. Every day, every hour. Stay locked to Pulse 89.5 FM, the beat of Tobago. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram and stream us worldwide on the TuneIn app.
Good evening and welcome back to Before the Ballot, an Assembly Review Town Hall. We are here with Mr. Trevor Williamson. Sorry, my apologies.
This is a name you should know by heart by now.
I very much should, but I just know you as Trevor James, to be honest.
Okay.
So tonight, Mr. James, we are asking some questions about your performance as Assemblyman. And we are concluding the segment that speaks to your representation of Scarborough, Mount Grace. And the final question we have for you in this segment is, tourism and hospitality were also emphasized with promises of better quality accommodations and restaurants. How has Scarborough Mount Grace benefited from new tourism-related investments so far?
Tourism investment. Scarborough Mount Grace is essentially a suburb of Scarborough. There are not many tourism-type lodging in the district. We represent just that area between Crooks River and what was formerly Wilson Road. That's our Scarborough catchment. Straight up Wilson Road, along Claude Noel Highway, up into Darrell Spring. That's essentially around Crooks River, up the old road, and over the highway. So that's of course going up to Sergeant Kane and Don Collar Hall, right? As a THA, I think when we came into office, we facilitated the paying off of electricity bills for a number of places in Tobago to ensure that they could remain viable and so on. It has been a challenge, not only in Tobago but in the region, for new tourism development taking place. We've seen a few major developments in Grenada and so on in the last few years.
I think the question is referring more to what did you intend to do versus what you did. I don't know exactly what your vision was when it comes to tourism, but the mandate did speak to development, so I don't know what your plans were versus what you were actually able to accomplish.
Okay. Well, like I said, the flagship project for the district and for the DHA is, of course, the redevelopment of Scarborough. We have and in that new port, we are now going to have 3 berths for bigger ships to dock. So the new design calls for berths along the eastern side of the bay, going around to Bacalet. It calls for a new a new containerized section for import, direct imports. It calls for new ships, new terminals, new shops, hopefully duty-free as well in that new terminal. So in support of the Division of Tourism, the goal was to find a way to create what we call a Southern Caribbean tour, where we are hoping to twin places like Aruba and Curacao in the Southern Caribbean, and hopefully be able to attract more cruise ships to this part of the region. We have sent our staff to Colombia, to Miami, to these conferences to get a better understanding of what is required for this cruise tourism product that we're trying to build. So we are setting the foundation. To transform the thing in 4 years is not feasible.
Right.
So we've confident that we have set the foundation. We've brought the design to the public. We have the plans available. Like I said, we are waiting on the CG to give us this sovereign.
Right.
Well, not even the funds, to just give us a sovereign guarantee. We are in the unfortunate position in Tobago where we are not the sovereign. We can't give a guarantee on our major energy assets in the ocean.
Don't worry, we have questions on that. We'll give you an opportunity to speak about that. So you have introduced our next segment already, which is speaking specifically to your representation in the THA for the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development. And we will begin that segment by asking what are the accomplishments you are most proud of in that role over the last 4 years, specifically for infrastructure?
I think the biggest accomplishment is getting the staff internally to perform.
Right.
I think when we went to Castara and decided that we're gonna, attack this project with our internal staff, a lot of people felt that we were crazy, and I think we have been able to demonstrate to the public or the ability of the staff, and I think the public now expects us to be able to attempt bigger and more projects. In terms of the transformational projects, I continue to be very appreciative of that project in King Peter Bay Hill, where there were steps there for the last 50, 60 decades. And we were able to go in there and remove, I think, almost 300 steps and put a new road in place. And so the people who are there now have more access to the land. People are trying to build A&B over the hill, where the view is and all of that. So those are the kind of projects, of course, that are closer to my heart. Obviously, the biggest project we've completed is the road we just opened. We've had to withstand the barrage of attacks as we try to complete the road from forces in high places. We've been able to stand up and manfully overcome them and to push ahead despite. I think it's an attitude that I want to see in Tobago, where we accept our responsibility to build this island ourselves, understanding that nobody else will do it. And I think if it is one lesson that I want Tobagonians to learn and to appreciate from the completion of that road, is that we in Tobago have to do this thing ourselves, and all of us must put our hands to the wheel and push. When we get stuck in the mud, we must all get behind and push.
Yes, thank you. So you didn't mention it, but there was a Plymouth marina that was highlighted in the manifesto. Have any advancements been made towards that Plymouth marina?
When we came into office, I think there was a lease. I don't remember the gentleman's name. It was a lease for someone who had the rights to where the jetty was, the jetty that fell down, and he had
a personal individual.
Yes, he had a lease. I think it was a 25-year lease that was renewed for that area and the area coming up to the play park and so on. And he had presented a decent plan for a marina. His lease has since expired. He wanted to get into a new partnership with the THA, but of course, money has always been the challenge, and that somehow fell by the wayside. But it's an opportunity that remains. I think when we came into office as well, there was conversation about a marina down at Cove in that area. At the time, we felt that it wasn't something that we were fully in support of. I think we've turned around a bit on that, but no doubt marinas in Tobago, more than one, will be a good thing for the economy in Tobago. Mm-hmm. And I think as a THA, we will support private sector investments in marinas. So we are open to discussions of that. We right. In our outreach from the division, we had identified Kings Bay as the location for a marina. We had some interest, but we have Kings Bay in the east.
King Peter's Bay?
Kings Bay.
Kings Bay in the east, right.
I know you all West people don't know the island as well.
No, but I'm just thinking Kings Bay is so far from a marina.
So far from where?
From the west and the activities in the west.
So of course we need to diversify the island.
Right.
We have a marina in Shagaramas.
Mm-hmm.
Look at where it is compared to where Trinidad is. So
right.
so we have to find a way to create economic spurs in different parts of the island, and I think right. there's a definite opportunity to open up the whole of the east. If a marina goes there,
right.
it
but
allows for...
As of right now, it's not something that you're actively pursuing because...
Well, we've had some interest. And there is a company that has been pursuing it with the staff to see how we could go. Part of the challenge, of course, for marina, you need a sizable acreage on land for on-land services.
Mm, yeah.
And the lands in front of Kings Bay are not all owned by the state.
Yeah.
We have that same challenge in Plymouth. We have that same challenge in Pigeon
right.
Point.
Right.
So we have that same challenge in Cove.
Right.
Which
is why you're considering Kings Bay.
Well, all areas are open now, but I'm saying it's a challenge that requires a kind of a tripartite type of arrangement, and of course pursuing those kinds of contractual arrangements where you have 3 or 4 parties coming together is always difficult to complete.
Okay, let's move along. The infrastructure projects that have faced delays or had large legal hurdles, namely the stage in the sea in Scarborough, which did not, as we know, receive the EMA approvals. In hindsight, how do you reflect on that, how that situation was dealt with?
Stage in the sea?
Yeah.
We call it the labor in Scarborough. Scarborough is in need of space. Scarborough is constricted by the ocean. Scarborough is constricted by private landowners. Scarborough has no space, not even to lime. We felt that we would signal our intent to reclaim major portions of the sea for the construction of the new port. And we took that decision at the Executive Council. I have no regrets in how we pursued the project because, and this is my personal feeling, not necessarily a THO Executive Council feeling, I feel very strongly that if you allow a foreigner to control your approval process, you can get nothing done. Your approval through Town and Country and the EMA. We have lived through 10, 15 years of the EMA in Tobago, turning a blind eye to projects executed under the PNM, and to turn around, and every project we have attempted to execute, to attempt to stop it.
Yeah, but
and so I have no regrets for that.
But in this particular case, am I correct in saying that there was some structural issues after all with the stage in the sea?
I don't know about structural issues. Every revetment that is built around the world, you would have some settlement, some movement. I don't know if that is structural. I went to Point Fortin and built a breakwater out in the sea. You would have some movement.
Okay.
That's normal. We have to find a way in Tobago to understand that when non-technical people criticize things, we turn a blind eye to it because people criticize without knowledge, right?
Well, this is what this platform is for, to give you an opportunity to explain to the layman these types of things, right?
Yeah, but I want to just go back to this EMA conversation.
Sure.
In the country of Trinidad and Tobago, the EMA, I'll give an example in Trinidad. That's a recent example. We heard Alwari saying that it took them 6 years to get the approval to reclaim that land in San Fernando where they reclaim that area, right? I think Mr. Warner was the contractor there. 6 years for a project that took 6 months. And we have to come to terms in the country with understanding what we are giving up. What is the opportunity cost? What is the cost of the delay in the expenditure for the economy for projects that we know we want to execute? The country knows the project is viable. And we have a state agency denying the project. We have staff. If you go down into Mount Pleasant development, I don't want to hit the EMA, you know, but if you go down to Mount Pleasant development, the water from the lagoon is backing up into the drains way up inside. Stink and stench. People have to throw diesel in it every day. We sent officers to the EMA to say, listen, we want to dredge part of that swamp to open up the volume in the swamp so the water could run out and alleviate all the mosquito and challenges with that, rodents and so on. The EMA said to us that it will take 3 years to get the approval.
Right.
And we simply, as a developing island, we simply have to find a way to have these things done more quickly.
Yes.
And they were being done more quickly because the EMA was working with the government under the PNM. And we must have zero tolerance for that kind of behavior.
Right. Understood. Okay. There has been some scrutiny around procurement and project management in your division. What measures have you taken to strengthen transparency and accountability?
I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. Issues around procurement and project management. I think we have demonstrated to the public that our internal hires can project manage big projects. And we've demonstrated that on the road from Smithfield to Dodge Fort. We've demonstrated that on the steps in King Peter Bay Hill. We've demonstrated that on internal projects in Castara. We've demonstrated that on the new road that has just been opened. Project management is not an exact science, obviously, and of course, mistakes are made, and as client representatives, project managers are able to try to correct that as the project goes on. But we've come from a place where the THA was hiring external project managers for every single project, while we have mothers who send their children to learn project management and engineering, working division, doing nothing.
Right.
So we took the opportunity to correct that, and if we've made mistakes, then we stand by the mistakes. But I think overall, the team at the division has done a great job between the engineering core and the project management office.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to go into the next segment now, which is going to be good governance and your role in it. The first question asks, looking across the assembly term, what yardstick should the public use to judge your performance? What would be the yardstick that you would like the public to use to judge your performance?
In terms of good governance?
Yeah.
Well, thankfully we have the Procurement Act, and we have the OPR rules and regulations, and I don't think we've had any tender process at the division that has been challenged and has to go on hold, which is what the process is. So if that is the measure, then I would say we've done a great job. We've had talk and small talk, but that's the nature of the politics. If I were to say that as a THA now, our ability to come to the public, which we have done, my coming here tonight, is our attempt to be scrutinized by the public, to be asked questions, and to defend or explain our positions. Yes. And I think if that is a measure of good governance, then we have succeeded.
Right.
We can't impact or affect the procurement and the choice in the procurement. That's now out of the hands of politicians. And so I think overall we have done well.
Right. Thank you. You're going to like the next question. As Tobago looks ahead to possible self-governance, how do you see your role in shaping a governance culture that is responsive, transparent, and people first?
We in Tobago must find a way to have balance. We have to find a way to ensure that we are taking the actions that will move the economy. I started to answer the question like that because our actions have to be judged on the big things. People first and that kind of a talk is a talk that limits what you will do. There is
So the question is asking, of course we have this Tobago Autonomy bill coming in.
I was coming to that.
Okay, yes.
I was
okay,
coming
go
to
ahead.
that. Right? And so the big thing in our struggle for autonomy over the years, the big thing is how we access financial resources to move the island, how we take control of all that is Tobago. That is the big thing, and not be limited by 6 miles that's been given from the parliament. I think the real conversation in Tobago has to be about the full Tobago EEZ and what resources have been extracted from there over the years, and us in Tobago on the financial side now finding a way to get a better share or fair share of those resources. That's a big thing. On the legislative governance side, the way the Houses of Parliament in Port of Spain are organized is our biggest challenge. We can't get a law passed because the Senate that passes the law, that leaves the lower house, is constituted in a manner that has no guarantees for Tobago. So we are going to Port of Spain, and as Rowley would say over the years, we have to convince people in Trinidad, voters and members who they voted, to accept that Tobago should be free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And therein is the problem. We have to find a way to either get the Senate to be representative of 2 states of people. 1 state is in Trinidad, so if it is 32, 16 in Trinidad, 16 from Tobago, and that is how we can get to a place where we are side by side in this thing.
Okay. I would love to hear more, but we have to go to a short break. So please stay tuned, and we will be back in a few minutes.
Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy. Almost everything, almost anything, almost anytime, almost every day. We in every season for every reason. Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy. Almost everything you want from a pharmacy. Just ask our pharmacist. Well, almost. We are here to serve all of you all of the time. Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy. 141 Chauvin Road, Buku. Call our pharmacy on 610-7634 or our supermart on 768-0723 and 766-0476. Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
For 10 years, Pulse 89.5 FM has been the beat that moves Tobago. From the latest hits to the voices of the community, we bring the island's rhythm to life. Every day, every hour. Stay locked to Pulse 89.5 FM, the beat of Tobago. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram and stream us worldwide on the TuneIn app.
Good evening and welcome back once again to Before the Ballot, the first Assembly Townhall review. We're here with Mr. Trevor
Williamson James. You have to let it flow, Hannah.
I know. Listen,
Let it
my
flow.
first time doing this. You bear with me, right? And we are in the middle of asking Mr. James about how it is that he intends to help to bring together the Tobago Autonomy, and you were speaking about the equal representation in Parliament, so you can go ahead.
Yeah, so, you know, we've been at this game with the Parliament in Trinidad since, in my lifetime that is, since APT was voted out by Tobagonians in favor of A&R Robinson. And we've seen Robinson join the PNM, move out of the PNM in order to try to push this Tobago thing. And we've
Sorry to interject, but just before the break, you were speaking about...
I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Make it short.
Making sure.
Oh, yes.
I was curious. I'm curious about...
Yeah, so we've been at this dance with the Parliament since Robinson and Murray went to the House and moved that motion in 1976-77, and we're still here. We've.
What was the particular motion?
At that time was for full internal self-government, if that is something that is definable, and we had the PNM then watering it down to act 1980 Act. Again, 1996 is another attempt. We had the PNM again pressuring the UNC then to water it down to Act 4 of 1996.
Right.
So, to limit Tobago again to 6 miles and to take our resources. That has been the trend, and to have us essentially beg parliamentarians from Trinidad to vote for us. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying the young people by now have to realize that this can't work. Mm-hmm. we have to stand up and say, listen, it cannot be that for us to get what is ours, that somebody from Pinal or Point 14 must support us. Mm-hmm. It can't be that.
So in simple terms, what is the TPP's objective? Specifically, what would the TPP like? Well,
I'm not here to speak about the TPP policy because that is not fully fleshed out. But I am saying that Tobago and Tobagonians have to come to the place where we are building the island ourselves and we're taking our autonomy ourselves, because we've been begging Trinidad for 50 years.
But what does the autonomy look like in 2025? What is it that you are speaking about? So you speak about autonomy. Mm-hmm. You speak about originally when it went to Parliament, however many years ago, that it was full autonomy, then it was watered down. Is it still watered down? Do you want to go back to full autonomy? Is there a compromise point? I'm just trying to understand where we're at right now.
Well, where we're at is that we have a limited autonomy, if that is even possible. Because if you're autonomous, you're autonomous. So we're not autonomous.
Are we pushing for full autonomy?
Well, absolutely. we are going to negotiate with the government. We believe that we have a more friendly government in Port of Spain, and so we will negotiate to see what the government wants to offer, and that in itself is a misnomer, but that is where we are. And I'm saying to Tobago, even if as a government we pursue this autonomy, trying to negotiate our way out into more control, into more budgetary security, the people must stand up and say enough is enough, because representatives, we can't do this ourselves, you know. We need almost a referendum majority in Tobago to say to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and to say to the world, that the time for this control, this imperialistic control from Trinidad is come to an end.
That's an interesting proposal. Have you considered calling a referendum in order to get that public?
The law does not even allow for us to have a referendum.
Right.
That is the kind of control we've been under. And so that's why I phrase it in that way. The people across the various villages have to get to that place. I don't think we're quite there. We have to get to that place where the people are demanding that the THA takes full control of all the resources that is in our waters, in our EEZ, and that is on our land.
How do you propose they do that? How do you propose the people demand that?
We have to get up and start protesting. That's the first start. We can organize after that.
What about taking the proposal to Parliament to have a referendum, to not for full autonomy or anything like that, but specifically to have the ability to have a referendum, and then to have a referendum in which the people of Tobago vote.
If the Parliament says no.
Well, then that's interesting, because it's a complicated thing when we're talking about autonomy. It's covers many different areas and so on. Whereas the issue of a referendum is like, why would you not be able to give us the ability to have?
Because Eric Williams and Ellis Clark said no.
Okay, but that was them. This is a new Parliament.
The thing is so crazy that if you wanted to get a Class 7 driver's license permit, you have to go to Trinidad to do it. We have to, if you want to get a fishing license, I think, you have to go to Trinidad to do it. If we want to license a trailer that we bought, we have to wait for a board to sit in Port of Spain. We've been waiting, we've had that trailer 3 months. We're waiting on a board to meet in Port of Spain to decide whether we could get a license for a trailer to drive on our road in Tobago. That's how crazy this whole thing is. And so the autonomy thing is not just the big things, you know, it's some of the small things. We waited years to be able to print that birth certificate in Tobago.
Yes, but from what I understand, it would make sense that if there was a way to represent the people of Tobago at a collective level, i.e. to say it is not just our representatives in Parliament that are calling for this, but we have done some kind of mass voting, right, in which we have said this percentage of Tobagonians want this to happen. It at least gives a little bit more standing beyond just the representatives saying we want this to happen.
I'm saying it does, absolutely, but we did that in 77. We voted out the PNM 12-1 when the THA started. We won the 2 seats first of all, Robinson and Murray, and then we wanted the THA 11-1. If there was a referendum, that was it. And we voted that way on the promise from Robinson and Murray that we will get autonomy.
Right.
So we've been kind of have this referendum. Right. Today, when we came in through the TPP, through the PDP, we were 14-1. And we came in talking autonomy.
Right.
So we've had semblance of a referendum, but not an official referendum. So yes, we could go and ask for a referendum, but we're depending on the Parliament to change the law.
Right. Well,
and therein lies the problem.
I hope that there are some representatives in Trinidad that are tuning in tonight and can hopefully hear the voice, your voice, and the voice of the people who, are really looking for a way that we can have greater autonomy. So let's move on. There was an incident where you and others chartered a private plane to leave Martinique. There were concerns about the expenditure of this charter, and questions relating to the good governance and leadership in respect to the rules and public expectations. Can you provide some comment about that incident?
I gave a full explanation in the House. To recap it, though, we went to St. Lucia, staff member and myself, to a conference, a connectivity conference, and could not get out of St. Lucia. Sorry, to Martinique.
Yeah.
Could not get out. We had a storm bearing down on us. We are in Martinique, running out of US currency. Our credit cards are maxed out. And we are at the mercies of the weather and the goodness of the hoteliers. I think we had overstayed 2 days already, trying to wait this thing out, running out of money. So what do? Do I leave? Do I stay there and go on the street and beg somebody for $5 to buy a meal? Or do I try to get home? So I use my vast connections to get home. And I don't see what the challenge was. There was no cost to the state. The entity.
And I think that would be the concern if it was costing the state.
There was no cost to the state, and I explained that fully in the House. I don't know why the question keeps arising.
No, there's no problem. Your explanation is fine. It's
But
just
yeah, the bigger issue with that is, how could members of a government in the country in Tobago be limited to $2,000 going abroad? How is that even possible? Why is that possible? That you're out on official business and you even can't pay for your hotel. The hotel stay alone costs more than $2,000. And that's the limit that they set, again, for public officials traveling on behalf of the state. That's the big question, Why it is that we have to be. The other incident, I was in New York with the chief secretary last year or year before. Both of our credit cards max out. We had to call home to get our wife's credit card number to try to pay a bill and to pay a Uber. Those are the questions that we have to contend with in Tobago and not focus on frivolous things. Because you have public officials. The chief just went to New York for Tobago Day, complaining that his 2 credit cards max out. And he had to find cash to pay for his security to travel and all kind of madness. And we in a country where we are selling oil and gas, a lot of it from Tobago. And we can't have access to basic US dollars. While people bringing in thousands of cars.
Are these budgets the same for the secretaries in the division as they are for parliamentarians, or I'm not sure?
I don't know what parliamentarians get. What I know is that we have public officials in Tobago, highest public official in Tobago, having to borrow people's card to pay his way out of the country on official business.
Okay.
We just lost in the island. We lost in the governance that we have. And that's what I'm saying. Young people have to stand up and say, hey, enough of this madness. We have to stop this madness. We have to find a way to stop this madness. This is madness. And we're going over from 77 to now going over and over and over and over, doing the same thing, and hoping that the parliament going to somehow give us this autonomy, and somebody in Toronto give us. They ain't giving us. That's really the reality. They ain't giving us no autonomy. They're not. They want to be where it is so they could take our resources as they have been doing for the last 130 something years. That's just how it is.
Okay. Understood. So we're going to go to another short break at this time, and when we return, we will continue our conversation and be taking some questions from the public. So please, if you have any questions for Mr. James, You can WhatsApp or call 681-1005. We also have a Facebook Live that's going on. You can submit your questions there. And please stay with us for when we return.
Need furniture and appliances for your home at affordable prices? It's time to visit JG's Furniture and Appliances Limited at their showroom at Smithfield number 2 in Scarborough. There's more room to shop, more furniture and appliances, more brands to choose from, all at the same affordable price. Get everything you need to furnish your home, like stoves, fridges, washing machines, couches, dining sets. They even have swing chairs, school desk, chase lounges, sports sets, garden benches, day beds, and coffee tables. JG's is perfect for gift ideas for new and established homeowners. A wide variety of furniture and appliances. After 35 years, JG's is still Tobago's top choice for furniture and appliances. Visit their showrooms either at Orange Hill Road or Smithfield number 2. JG's, make your dream home come true.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tapago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tapago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tapago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tapago's at your service.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi.
Good evening and welcome back once again to Before the Ballot, Assembly Townhall Review. We're here with Assemblyman Trevor James.
That's better.
And this evening we are asking you some tough questions about your time as representative, and we are now going to be taking some questions from the public as well as continuing our conversation. And the first question from the public is, from the inception, the administration has been paving roads continually. What made this possible, especially under a previous central government that was strategically underfunding Tobago?
A gentleman told me some years ago that when they give you lime, you must make chocolate cake and let them wonder how you did it. I think we really have tried to reorganize the division. Like I said, we are now benefiting from that restructuring and allowing the professionals in the division to bring their skills and abilities to the fore. And I think we are seeing that. We've tried to create a blend of, like we say, capital development type projects, as well as internal projects where the division staff have been paving. We started paving with an old spreader that we had. We're going to be breaking down all the time and so on. We now have a new spreader, but we have money challenges and we can't buy the asphalt from Spell fast enough and buy all the aggregate from Spell and so on. So we are not moving as quickly as we can. We've restructured some of the districts. We are now trying to build out other preparation teams so we could move a little faster. But I think we have captured the balance between those bigger projects and the small ones. I know people in the east I see on Facebook complaining that we had to come to the east and start to pave up there and so on. But it's a resource constraint that we face, and we continue to do the best that we can. The team, the patching and paving team, they're in Signal Hill now, I think, and they will be moving east and moving east and moving east. So I think the public, there are always people who would say that we have worse roads wherever, and try to challenge why we chose that specific road, because we can't pave all the roads. But the staff go out and make a determination, sometimes based on request, sometimes based on what they see as well, and try to limit the paving within the distance that we have set. You know, people say, why don't we pave from Rockley Vale to Mason Hall? That is going to cost us $15 million in material. So it is the choices we have to make. So we've taken a decision, excuse me, to pave where people live. And so you would see we're doing more of that, shorter roads, bringing relief to people. I think we paved a road last week that people say they haven't had the roads fixed for 18 years. You know, so we'll be doing more of that and try to see how much people we can touch, and you know how much car shocks we could save.
Yeah. So you would say that the improvements come down to using more of the internal resources. That's good.
And to restructuring. Yeah.
And restructuring. Okay. So I believe we have another question coming in from online. Does Mr. James think we need to have a Tobago EMA or duplicate other state agencies for development on the island?
The THA Act gives the THA authority over the environment, and we must develop our own institutions. I think so. Yes, we need to have. Well, we need to have control of town country planning, and we need to have control of the EMA. We need to ensure that we have a more holistic approach to project approvals, bearing in mind that, you see, sometimes the history is important for us. When the Americans were trying to build out America, there was no EMA and no environmental nothing. They built out things all over the place, dam rivers, do what they want, cut down all the forests. And then they come years later and say, listen, Brazil, Guyana, you keep your forest, no development for you. We want that carbon dioxide to be trapped there. You understand? So we have to accept in Tobago that there are things we must give up if we are to move the island forward. And we have to weigh that opportunity at economic cost of what we give up for what we gain. And no doubt, there's need for population growth, and with population growth, therefore they need more housing, we need more development, and so on. And so we need projects to come out of the pipeline faster. Certainly we can't wait 3 or 4 years to dredge a swamp to alleviate a problem that has been existing in Bonaccord for the last 12 or 14 years. It's crazy.
Do you think, I'm sure this is part of the bill that's being put before Parliament, yes?
Well, some things will be in there.
Right?
Yes.
Do you think, from your perspective as Secretary for Infrastructure, that those types of things could be put forward separately from the overall autonomy bill, where you are asking specifically for a Tobago-based EMA and these types of...
No, the bill, the environmental control entity in Tobago is, I think, for the THA to do. I think we have to do that. We went to the House some years ago and passed that motion that the THA voted on to say we should do that. So that's something that will be done eventually. But it goes back to what I'm saying, that we have to take control of our own thing. And so it's not that the government wants to control every aspect, every agency, but Tobagonians must be in control of Tobago development.
I'm asking specifically if there's a way to take out specific parts of the self-governance issue and put that before Parliament.
I don't know if we can do that, but we've decided to negotiate with the governments. We've identified a number of issues with which the chief will go and talk to the Prime Minister about. In my division, for example, the export license is one of those things. And so issues like that, I am hoping to meet with the Minister of Transport to talk about that licensing regime where Tobagans have to go to Trinidad. Maxi men can't get a maxi license in Tobago. They have to go and beg somebody in Trinidad, and they have to determine how much maxi we have on the road. And so those kind of issues, we hope that now that we believe we have a more favorable government, that we will have those conversations and see if we can negotiate our way out of some of them. But the big thing is that we had to take this thing for ourselves, and we had to find a way to do it,
Okay. Okay. Where shall we go next? I'm not sure if this falls under your division in particular, but there was some talks from the chief about a cruise ship that would come into Tobago that was for the surrounding islands like Grenada, I think specifically. Is that something that you are part of?
A cruise ship that will come into Tobago?
Not a cruise ship, but it was like a ferry, like an inter-island ferry between Tobago and Grenada.
We proposed the idea
and I know
first.
Some progress was made, but then
we proposed the idea first of connecting Tobago, and that's coming out of this connectivity conference we went. And we proposed the idea, we made public the idea first, and the government in Trinidad took it and tried to now present a link between Guyana, Trinidad, and Barbados, and again leaving Tobago out. And that is the kind of thing we are faced with. We have an airline called CAL that's going all over the region and cutting Tobago out.
Right.
And so those are the kind of things that we'll have discussions on. But these things are difficult because in our mind, in my mind, we own half of CAL. And they give us, if they care to, one seat on the board.
Right.
That's not half. We own half of CAL. We are Trinidad and Tobago. And I think unless the people in Tobago stand up for ourselves, not just the politicians, because we could talk, all of us could talk, but the people had to stand up and the people had to demand that this is what they want.
Understood.
When was the last time you heard a Bajan accent in Scarborough, or Grenadian accent,
Very true.
or Vincentian accent? They don't come here because they can't get here.
Right.
We're not connected. We're not part of the region.
Yeah.
And we had to look at that. Because the massive airport that they build will be like the one in Antigua when nobody coming through.
Okay, so Mr. James, thank you so much for being here this evening. We just have one more break, and then we are going into the final segment. So for our viewing listeners, we encourage you to ask your questions via the Facebook Live or send them in to 681-1005. We are accepting WhatsApp calls, and this is your opportunity to ask Mr. James any questions that you may have had as your area representative. So we're going to go to a short break and be back shortly.
Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy. Almost everything, almost anything, almost anytime, almost every day. We in every season for every reason. Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy. Almost everything you want from a pharmacy. Just ask our pharmacist. Well, almost. We are here to serve all of you all of the time. Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy. 141 Chauvin Road, Buku. Call our pharmacy on 610-7634 or our supermart on 768-0723 and 766-0476. Vodel Supermart and Pharmacy.
Escape to elegance at Le Chateau Suites Tobago. Gated privacy, breathtaking villas, unforgettable memories, where Caribbean dreams become reality.
Rise and shine in the morning is just part of my day.
From 6:30 to 8:30 every day. Foreign man says so.
It informs me of what happens in Tobago.
I find it to be so informative. Every aspect of Tobago affairs is being discussed there. So I will continue to look at Rise and Shine. That's my thing.
Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m.
I love Rise and Shine.
Have you visited Tobago Channel 5's Facebook or Instagram pages lately? Well, check them out now for all the interviews and up-to-date news. Remember to like, share and follow for Tobago news and current affairs information at your fingertips.
Good night and welcome back to Before the Ballot with Trevor James. We are now going into our final segment in which we are taking questions from the audience. And our first question is going to be about the future projects that you have coming up in the pipelines in regards to what your plans are.
So, like I said earlier, we've developed this Scarborough development plan, which envisions having 3 or 4 cruise ships in the harbor simultaneously. And to facilitate that and the volume of people in Scarborough and moving people in and out of Scarborough efficiently, we've come up with a network of roads leading into Scarborough and out of Scarborough. And we call that the Greater Scarborough Network, and we will attempt to start that in the shortest possible time to put in the minds of the public that the development is coming. And so we've been asked at the Executive Council, we as a division, to go out to tender. That will go out maybe next month. We have some beautification projects as well. We have a boardwalk above the river between FCB and KFC, going up to Finance, behind the market and so on. So we will pursue that. We were hoping to dredge the drain, the water, the swamp in Crown Point to alleviate that health challenge in Bonacor development, and we may still be able to pursue that, but we need the help of the EMA. So let me calm down with the EMA. We need the EMA to help and say, yeah, let me just go and do it now, man. It's an emergency.
Okay.
So we have a few projects in the pipeline we're hoping to execute. I know the public has been asking about coming from Dodge Fort straight over to Garden Side, and we in fact have a design, and we're trying to see how that will work and what will be the traffic feature there to control that movement.
We look forward to that. Okay, so we're going to go into one of our questions from our audience here. Well, it says, well, his point about limited US dollars requires that Tobago develop greater foreign exchange industries. What has he done to help Tobago develop greater export industries that generate more US dollars, and what else is needed in order to do that?
SPEL has the biggest capacity to generate foreign exchange today. SPEL. Studley Park Enterprises Limited. We've had, since we came into office, requests from Guyana for hundreds of thousands of tons of our aggregate. And we've been unable to sell 1 ton to Guyana because P&M in Trinidad refused to give us an export license. Okay. Denying not the government, but the people of Tobago from foreign exchange.
Right, okay.
So
right.
It's not a question about whether Secretary James has done nothing. We have made all attempts to get just SPEL first.
So SPEL would be one of the best ways to get that US.
The easiest way, yes.
Okay, great. So we're going to go to our live audience now, and we have a questions from the audience, and we're going to take that question now.
Yes, good evening, Mr. James. I have a concern with your road patching exercise. What I've noticed is that some aggregate is put in, right? And it is not completed. The job isn't completed. You just have it's just some bitumen there, and then if you are driving, especially coming down on that Milford Road there, right? You come off smooth and you drop into a drop. Why it is that exercise can't be completed in one, where you put the asphalt and you put the boundary and you finish the project, instead of digging out the area and leaving it exposed. The other thing was in a discussion sometime today, where there's a potential for a bottleneck at that new Friendship Road as it comes into the Stumpy's bypass, as that merger. Is there any plans for future, because the traffic right now may not be as heavy, but is there any plans for to alleviate the potential for a bottleneck at that area?
All right, so the first question as regards to the patching process, we have a systemic, we have a process challenge. I think we are, one, we have staff who are working short hours. It's something we inherited, and we have financial challenges in buying bitumen from SPEL. And we are trying to move money around so that we could pay SPEL, so we could have a kind of drawdown thing. The area in Scarborough along Milford Road, I think it is Rose Boulevard now. I'm hoping that will be done tomorrow, because it's been sent to me. I've sent it to the team. I don't know why it wasn't, because there seemed to be a small area that wasn't incomplete, right? So let me apologize to the public for that, but I think that should be done tomorrow, God willing. In terms of excavating, of cutting, and the pitch and excavating and compacting and coming up and oiling and so on, that is the process. Whether we could do all in one day, depending on the size of the area, we do it in one day. So we have the patching truck. So for smaller holes, we do that in one day. It's a coordination, work hours kind of a matrix that we're trying to sort out. In terms of the bottleneck, like I said at the opening, the data, I haven't seen the data, but the data presented from the Ministry of Works and the then Minister of Works told us that the data they have said that the single lane we built up to that point was adequate, given the potential for population growth up to 2040. We're still hopeful that we've presented to the government that part of their plan should be to acquire some lands along Storby Local Road down to the airport to allow us to widen the road. Whether they would accept that is something. that they would consider. They've also planned to build that road behind Ravenel's coming up. They need to acquire the lands and so on. So that conversation will continue. From what I've seen about the airport opening and so on, it seems as though operationalizing the airport is some way off. And so we may have some time for more conversations and more decisions to be made.
Thank you, Mr. James. We are going to go to our final question now. We have one audience member here on the phone, so we're going to take that question now.
Yes, good night, Mr. James, and to the rest of the people who are listening. Mr. James, my question to you tonight is that can we hold you to the fact that, because I listened to a press conference you had earlier on in relation to what you have planned for Tobago and for the quick coming to the Christmas, and you know there's a saying that don't promise a child something and deliver. So can we hold to the fact that we could see a little, no, let me say a little, what you plan to do in Scarborough to brighten up for the Christmas? Can we hold to the fact that, hey, we want that for the Christmas as our Christmas gift? And before I close, I just want to say, big up to you and the team. Good work, good work, good work. We are so accustomed to promise never materialize, but we've seen that this is materializing. Locked on and listening, brother. Big up to the team.
As a Christmas gift in Scarborough. Well, I'm not Santa, but we are pursuing the boardwalk. Certainly, we will start it. Procurement challenges notwithstanding. Whether it will be completed is yet to be seen, but we are pursuing that as our end of term gift to the people of Scarborough Mount Grace and to the people of Tobago in Scarborough. So that tender hopefully will go out in October, and if we act speedily, we would see some action November, December.
Okay, that's great. So we look forward to that. We have one more question as well come through here from Facebook. It says, seeing the THA has had a walkthrough of the new airport, can the THA fix or advise about the shortfalls that exist, like inadequate parking for taxis? Presently, we have 30 taxis in line and have only been catered parking for 10 taxis.
I made a promise 3 years ago to not criticize the airport construction, at least not publicly. But there are many challenges with the design and what we now have. I think the airport authority came to me and said to me, listen, we would have to park up in Crown Point and travel up to the airport because there's no parking for us. Taximen are complaining. There'll be some logistic challenges that we as Tobagonians have to overcome as the airport begins to be operationalized. And the THA will do all that we can to ensure that it's an easy operation to use the terminal.
Is there any nearby areas that could be acquired in order to help with that problem?
Well, the government acquired massive amounts of land, displaced hundreds of Tobagonians from their property and misused the property. That is just the reality of it. They put the airport in the wrong place. So we are now limited by Strawberry Local Road, and somebody going to say just now, we had to move all those houses opposite the terminal. Because the reality is, when a 747 lands in Tobago, that is the most expensive asset we have on the ground. And you have somebody to stand up by Cook's house and throw a bomb over there. So, I don't want to criticize the thing, but there are many problems with the terminal that we'll have to contend with. Yeah. We now have it, and the airport authority, I'm sure, will try to operationalize it as quickly as possible. but there are challenges that we'll have to overcome. Maybe parking, land for parking be one of those things nearby that will have to be considered. But that is going to be done through the central government.
Right, understood. Okay, so we have come to an end of this evening, and on behalf of Tobago, again, we are so grateful that you agreed to sit down with us. I will now invite you to make your closing statements to the people of Tobago.
If I were to close the way I had planned to close, it will be too long, but I want to say that we, as a TPP government, we have demonstrated that we act and we don't talk. If we say we're going to do something, we set about doing it. And we have demonstrated that we are on the pathway into transforming Tobago to this greatest little island that we are targeting. We need constitutional reform to be able to do it. That's the biggest thing. We need a Tobago that understands, and a Tobagonian that understands that we can't focus all our expenditure on social things and potholes, to be blunt about it. That we have to find the right balance in our expenditure to ensure that we are taking action to move the economy forward, to attract investment, to bring people to spend their own money, to encourage population growth, and so we could get more employment outside of the THA for the Tobagonian. And so I want the Tobagonian to bear in mind that the government employ is not sufficient to move the economy forward. And so the development of the private sector requires that we have more control of the whole EEZ and the whole land space in Tobago, so that we can set the policy that will move Tobago forward. And critical to that, of course, is changing the legislative arrangement that we have.
Okay. So we are now at the end of this first ever Before the Ballot Town Hall Assembly, and we would like to thank Tobago Channel 5 as well as Tobago CivilNET, which is a non-partisan, non-profit organization focused on Tobago development. You can visit Tobago CivilNET at www.tobagocivilnet.org for more information. And we invite you to tune in next week, Tuesday the 30th, as we sit down with Assemblyman Nigel Tate. So same time, 8 p.m., and prepare your questions ahead of time as we sit down with Mr. Tate. So thank you for staying with us, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.